Hello everybody, this is the speaking feedback with the candidate, which you should have heard by now. When you're doing the fluency and the pronunciation section, it really is good to listen at the same time. That way you can feel exactly what I'm giving feedback on, and you can know like what's good, what could be improved, and things like that. So let's get started. The first bit of feedback is related to, and so in here, it's not incorrect, but a bit unnatural hesitation here. I'll mention this later, but it is okay to hesitate, but this seemed a bit unnatural. So that's the issue with this little part. And I'm living in Hamilton, New Zealand. This was perfectly fluent, perfectly natural, no problem here. And also very important to use contractions, I'm and your and things like that. So it's very important to use contractions in the speaking part. Okay. Now, here's the first of many, but you need to use synonyms when you're talking, when you're connecting ideas or giving more information. You will see many of these, and it was an issue. In this case, there's many synonyms, but I just put the synonym in addition. So, can you think of a synonym for so? Well, thus, okay. And then down here, this was a bit short, high school student. It's always better to use full sentences, okay? I've been teaching high school students, high school math for years. So it's always better to give a full sentence answer. I know in everyday English we give short answers, but remember, this is a speaking test. You're trying to show off what grammar, vocabulary, and your fluency. So it's really good that you use full sentences whenever you can. Okay, now moving on. This was fully explained answer. You can see that it's quite long. The speaker goes into teenage students and how she likes to treat them. So this was quite a full answer, good speed, everything was good here and fully explained. It's a great example. And, well, here we go again. Also another synonym. And those teenage days, this was good referencing back to like when she was a teenager. So, a little bit of referencing. It's less important in speaking. We don't do it quite as much, but again, it is good to use some referencing. This does go into the fluency and coherence. I was little and, there was thinking hesitation, but it's okay. I'm a native speaker. You're a native speaker in whatever language you are. Sometimes we hesitate. You don't have to stress about making some hesitations. It's when they become too many or when the examiner can feel that you're searching for, kind of basic words, or it's too often, or, thinking of grammar. So again, don't think that you can't hesitate. You absolutely can. I do it when I'm speaking. I might do it while I'm speaking during this presentation, which I've prepared. It's natural. Here we go again with but. Well, you could say however. Even if you just have three, however, right? On the other hand, okay, in contrast, it's just good to mix them up, okay? But this speaker kept using, and, but, and so. Next one, well, this is a, fluent linking, when it's talking back to, I knew there was two things that I didn't want to touch. One was to become a teacher. That's good, right? That's good linking. And the other, again, good referencing back to the two things. Okay, so these were very well linked, good ideas, good full answer. Okay. Unfortunately, I am a teacher or fortunate. If you listen to this, you can see, needed some self-correction here, and the correction was actually still incorrect. So, it's okay. It's better to self-correct, right? But if you rely on it too much, there weren't a lot of examples of this, but it is a good example to show you that, this is self-correction. but it still was incorrect. And, the speaker did need to use that to keep going. So again, and, maybe therefore. And Sundays, again, not fluent, hesitation here, okay, when she was thinking about the word. Okay, and beaches, this was too much hesitation here, and again, with self-correction. Again, of course, it can happen sometimes, but this was quite obvious. And, well, we could say additionally, with my parents and my brother's family, they like to be close to the mountains too. This was quite fluent here, So it started with some hesitation, but then, the speed picked up and it was quite fluent after that. And then I can't swim and I don't have any interest to learn to swim, so I just want to take pictures. Again, this was quite fluent and very well done. And then, I'm a follower kind of person. There was a bit too much hesitation here. So if you do listen, you can feel, when you just look at the writing, you can't feel it as much, but there was quite a bit of hesitation here. Well, let's move on to lexical range and accuracy. Okay, the first one is, and I myself, well, just myself, right? Again, just a kind of a speaking thing, but it is a little incorrect. We move on here, a gully section. Wow, we don't hear the word gully every day. So it's impressive that, the speaker knew what a gully section is. A gully is just like, some land that kind of goes down, usually into a river or kind of drainage. But again, this is not a common expression, so this would make the examiner notice. Work with, good phrasal verb. Okay, work with teenagers. It's also, instead of teaching, it's nice that, the speaker said kind of work with. It has this kind of friendly feeling to it. It's necessary. This was the second time, right, that the speaker said necessary. So, it's, again, much like the writing, it's important to use synonyms. So you could say maybe essential. You've got, I'm quite understanding too. This was the second time. So you could say like, I'm pretty understanding. Having a little range of, adverbs to modify adjectives. Again, these are just little ways to help show some range in your vocabulary, or as they say in IELTS, lexical range and accuracy. In this context, I didn't want to touch, okay? It's not physically touching them, right? But I didn't want to do them. So in this context, it's actually quite idiomatic and quite well done here. So that was quite good. I like my new job. One simple tip is, try to avoid saying like too much. You could say I enjoy, I'm keen on, I prefer. Again, this is all just helps the overall range. Pretty boring. Well, boring is a pretty common word. So try to say something maybe like mundane. Okay. Again, just if you can think of, the boring is kind of an easy word, and you can think of mundane. The only risk is it might slow you down, right? While you're trying to think of a, more academic or less frequent word. That's something to be careful of, right? So if you're trying to think of like the perfect word, but you're hesitating, that will affect you negatively. Again, like, so, they can't wait to be close to mountains too. Okay, so again, just trying to use other expressions for like. I'm a follower kind of person. I'm a kind of follower sounds better. For here, part of, I'll just be part of the family. Again, good phrasal verb, and again, perfect in this context, kind of participating, but it's a little bit more casual, which is great for speaking. All right, let's look at the grammatical range and accuracy. We'll start with a little mistake about the family. Well, it should be, more, the better determiner here would be about my family. And then, here, yes, my brother's family, very close to us as well. Just a bit unnatural. You would say, my brother's family, who is, you could even say, that is very close to us as well. So again, this would be better to use like a relative pronoun and sentence to link these two sentences here. Next, high school student, well, should be plural, high school students. And here, I believe that nobody can do a good job without working hard, and I'm quite understanding too. What a great long, it's kind of a conditional, without, if they don't. So good use of the connecting word without, and, it's two clauses, well connected, very good sentence here. Next we got, I never knew what I wanted to do when I was little. Again, like showing, in the past, and then what I wanted to do. Again, much more complex sentence, perfectly used, very appropriate, good sentence, good clauses, fantastic. Here we go, we've got, again, but I knew that there were two things that I didn't want to touch. Again, great relative pronoun, relative clause, perfectly used. And then become a teacher. It seems like a small thing, but using articles, like and un, and then, knowing when to not use them, this is a skill that is quite hard. It's often the last thing people develop. Okay, so this speaker did it here. I just wanted to point it out. But she did it throughout, which is quite good. And then an accountant, again, just another article used perfectly. And then normally quite busy. Again, you've got two adverbs here used perfectly. So I just wanted to point that out. It's good to use adverbs to kind of change your adjectives, to make them a little stronger, to make them a little weaker. It just adds a fuller explanation to what you're trying to say. And of course, it improves your lexical, and it improves your grammatical range and accuracy. Okay, it really is about range if you want to get that higher score. And on a Saturday, well, in this context, you should say Saturdays. Okay, I hate working on Saturdays. It is more accurate to say it this way. Next, we got if you go on holiday with my parents and my brother's family. So if I go on holiday, they like to be close. Again, just a longer conditional. You've got, you got three clauses here. If I go on holiday, and with my brother's family, so a longer noun phrases. I should say there's two clauses. Again, just a longer sentence, well connected, no errors, really well done. And then down here, I have no intention to learn to swim. Again, no intention to, right? Plus, infinitive, and then to swim. Again, lots of verbs. This would be like a verb phrase, perfectly well done. And something's missing here. Well, you should have it. This isn't really noticed as much when people are speaking, but it is technically incorrect. So, it doesn't matter, right? So you should always have a subject in English. And then whether, well, this is great. So it doesn't matter whether, again, just a good, this is a conditional, and she didn't use if. So this is, again, showing more skill at using conditional sentences. All right, let's move on to the pronunciation. Okay. Again, pronunciation is not just about individual words. It's about, linking two words together. I make the slight joke that, English is kind of like a violin language. The sounds, they connect together. And that's part of pronunciation. It's also when to pause, when to hesitate, giving emphasis on negatives. So in this longer piece here, there was good linking, pronunciation throughout this section. So this was very well done. To give a bit of emphasis, quite old. Again, quite old. It's good to, give a little emphasis, especially when you're trying to show, something's, stronger. It's quite old. So the slight hesitation, not just, da 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 da. It's a small thing, but it's an important thing if you're going to get a higher pronunciation score. It has a gully. Again, this just all, connected together really well. It has, okay? Instead of it has. So just really good linking here. We move on. And this is something that you may or not know. When there's two do and, like the linking is actually, there's a W in between. There's a W sound, okay? If I do and, and the speaker did it well, instead of do and, it's a small thing, but the examiner will notice this kind of linking. Again, if I say it slowly, and certain things that must do and, but she said do and it's a small thing, but you will catch it now that I've pointed it out. When there's two vowel sounds, there might be a Y sound in between, or there might be a W sound. Can't, perfect pronunciation, perfect emphasis. She stressed this word. It's really important to stress negatives. Native speakers do it. It helps people catch the difference between can and can't. So very well done, stressing the negative, good job. And I just wanted to point out that the TH here and throughout was very well done. Think instead of, think. So think, very good. Normally, this person said they're from China, and a lot of, it's Asian speakers have difficulty with the R and L difference, and this was perfect. Normally, she said it absolutely perfect, so good L pronunciation. Again, same, work. You'd be surprised how many people mispronounce work, and it's because of the spelling. They get into a bad habit of saying work when it's actually work. So she did a good job here. Just little things that we notice as examiners.